When you're giving a big presentation, what's your most powerful tool? I'll give you a hint. It's not your slides. It's not your script. It's not even your data. It's your own mind. Today, we're diving into the psychology of what makes a presentation really, truly work.
You know the feeling, right? You're about to speak and poof, all those perfectly rehearsed points just vanish. Your heart starts pounding out of your chest, your palms get all sweaty. Well, that's the completely normal, universal fear of public speaking. And the key isn't to pretend it's not there, but to figure out where it's coming from and how to get a handle on it.
So, that feeling of anxiety, it doesn't just stay inside your head. Nope, it has a funny way of, well, leaking out. It shows up in ways your audience can see and hear, and it can seriously undermine the message you're trying so hard to deliver. Let's break down exactly what that looks like.
Okay, what's the first and maybe most obvious sign? Speed. When we get nervous, that adrenaline kicks in and we just start talking a mile a minute. Or sometimes we do the exact opposite and our voice gets super quiet. Either way, the result is the same. Your audience can't keep up and your brilliant ideas get totally lost in the shuffle.
And you know, it's pretty fascinating how our brains try to cope with that stress. As our mind is scrambling for what to say next, it starts grabbing for these little verbal crutches to fill the silence. That's when you hear the ums, the likes, the you-knows creeping in. And what does that signal? A lack of confidence, and it just makes your message feel a whole lot less clear.
Of course, it's not just what we say, it's what we do. All that nervous energy has to go somewhere, doesn't it? So it comes out as pacing back and forth, or shifting your weight from foot to foot, or messing with a pen. And while you might feel like you're just burning off stress, to your audience, it's just plain distracting.
And this leads to one of the most damaging things we can do with our body language, turning our back on the very people we're trying to connect with. I mean, even just staring at your slides for too long does the same thing. It builds this invisible wall that basically screams, "I'm not comfortable being here with you."
Okay, so we've laid out the problem, right? It's all rooted in fear and anxiety. So what's the antidote? Confidence. And I'm not talking about being arrogant or loud here. I'm talking about an internal shift in your mindset. It's about winning that battle in your own head before you ever step on that stage.
And this really gets right to the heart of it. Look at this. The fear mindset, it directly leads to rushing, fidgeting, and disconnection. But if you make a conscious choice to shift to a confidence mindset, you create these powerful opposites: clarity in your speech, engagement with your audience, and a real sense of authority.
All right, so you've decided to adopt that confidence mindset. Awesome. But how do you make sure your audience actually sees it and feels it? Now we're going to shift from the internal feeling to the external actions, the stuff that really projects that poise and power.
You can almost think of this as your personal confidence checklist. It all begins the second you walk out, with a really strong, confident introduction. And from there, it's all in the details. Dressing the part to feel credible, using natural hand gestures that show you're open, and standing up straight to project presence. But the big ones, maintaining eye contact to really build that human connection, and speaking at a clear, natural pace so your message has a chance to land.
This all sounds great in theory, but how do you actually do it when the pressure is on? Well, this final section is all about your practical toolkit. These are 3 actionable strategies you can start using right away to manage that anxiety and build a rock-solid, confident mindset.
Here it is, a simple but incredibly powerful 3-step process. 1. Rehearse to relax. 2. Smile to connect. And 3. Focus to deliver. Let's just quickly look at why each one of these is so incredibly important.
Honestly, it all comes back to this. Preparation is your absolute best defense against anxiety. The more you rehearse, the more that material just becomes second nature. You stop worrying about what you're going to forget and start focusing on how you're going to deliver it with real impact. Remember, rehearsal doesn't make you sound like a robot. It makes you relaxed enough to be yourself.
And you can see exactly how this whole toolkit works together here. Each strategy directly fights one of the problems we talked about earlier. Rehearsal, that reduces anxiety. A simple smile, that builds connection with your audience. And focusing on your core message, that guarantees clarity and stops you from getting lost or rambling on.
So, the next time you're getting ready to present, just remember this. That stage, it's not a courtroom where you're being judged. It's a blank canvas. You have total control over the mindset you bring and the energy you project. So the only real question left is the one you see right here. What will you choose to project?